Good evening. My name is Paul Cahill and I'm the CEO of NESS Super. Welcome to the 2024 NESS Super Annual Members Meeting. Today, you'll be hearing from Paul Lahiff, the Chair of the NESS Super Board, and Chris Madsen, the Chair of the NESS Super Investment Committee. I would like to acknowledge the other NESS Super Board members who are attending online. I'd like to acknowledge Louise Burns, our RSE Auditor from Ernst & Young. Also attending online is the NESS Super Management Team. Felix Feist, our Head of Risk and Compliance, Stanani Costa, our Head of Investment Operations, and Simon Horrod, our Head of Member Services. During today's meeting, we'll provide members a general update on the fund's activities for the year ended 30 June 2024. We'll also update you on NESS Super's investments. We will discuss what we have planned for the 24-25 financial year and the future. We'll end with a Q&A session to answer some questions from members at the end of the meeting. But first, we hear from Chloe from the Canberra Institute of Technology Student Association to hear about her experience with NESS Super.
My name's Chloe and I work for the CIT Student Association in Canberra. We work at the Canberra Institute of Technology. We're a non-for-profit that provide non-academic support to CIT students through their studying journeys, and we plan all the events across the campuses throughout the year. So CITSA have had a really good experience with NESS. We've always had a really good open line of communication. They're always quick to respond, they're always willing to get involved on campus, and they're always willing to help the CIT students. We hold all the events on campus. Two of our biggest events of the year are Financial Health and Guidance Week and Tradies Health Month. Financial Health and Guidance Week kind of ties in perfectly with Tradies Health Month because we aim to promote a few different topics, that being sexual health and guidance, well-being, safety at work, and financial health. What we do is we throw a free barbecue or we have free popcorn to get the students to come and get involved, and we invite stall holders that align with our goals to come and promote their services to students. We want to make sure that we at CITSA are supporting them through this education to make sure that everyone's aware of superannuation and that they should be getting paid superannuation. So NESS has kindly come down to hold information sessions for our apprentice and trainee students at CIT. So we were able to capture all students throughout the week with an information session during their smoko break, followed by a barbecue with NESS to keep the conversation going in a more casual way. So CITSA are really pleased with how we've been able to work with NESS for the future of the CIT students. We know they're in good hands if they're contacting NESS. The Student Assistance team at CITSA, we're always working to provide non-academic support for the CIT students, and working with NESS has provided a great avenue for CIT students to receive financial information whenever they need. So CITSA are really confident about the future of our CIT students that have attended NESS information sessions, as we know that they've received accurate information and we're quite confident referring them to NESS. We know that they're quick to respond, they're willing to help. So we're really pleased to be able to have an avenue to promote financial health to these students.
It's great to hear from our partners at the Canberra Institute of Technology Students Association. We look forward to continuing our participation in your events. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Paul Lahiff, the Chair of NESS Super Board. Paul has been with NESS Super since 2019 and was appointed Chair of the NESS Super Board in May 2021. Paul has over 40 years' experience in banking and finance and currently holds a range of different board positions.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to join us. I would like to update you on the year that was. Our focus for the 2023-24 financial year has been to build on our strong performance and deliver even greater value to our members. I'm pleased to report that we've achieved positive returns across our investment options, with My Super performing at 8.25% and My Pension at an impressive 9.75% for the year ended 30 June 2024. Over the past 2 years, the My Super investment option has earned 17.83%, or an average of 8.92% per annum, and the My Pension investment option has earned 20.34%, or an average of 10.17% per annum. The NESS Super Fund business has remained consistent and strong, underpinned by our commitment to providing strong returns, unaltered fees, which are some of the lowest in the industry, comprehensive industry-specific insurance coverage tailored for electricians and trades, and lastly, outstanding member service. When compared to other super funds, our fees at June 2024 remain one of the lowest in the industry, as shown on the screen. The fees we charge to members are lower than many other very well-known and much larger industry super funds. Some of the other funds are notably more expensive than NESS My Super. These numbers are based on a representative member with a balance of $50,000. For more details on NESS Super fees, see our product disclosure documents and fees and costs guide available on our website, nesssuper.com.au/PDS. NESS Super continues to offer exceptional service, ensuring that our members receive the support they need when they need it. The trustees' dedication to having local contact centres, in-house claims handling teams, and member-focused advisory services demonstrates the trustees' unwavering commitment to prioritising members' needs. In a world marked by geopolitical tensions, unprecedented climate changes, and ongoing economic uncertainty, our commitment to our members' financial security is more crucial than ever. NESS Super efforts were recognised with a platinum rating for our choice product in 2024 from Super Ratings, which is the highest possible rating. NESS Super has also appointed a marketing and communications agency to improve communications with our members and potential members, and we've also improved our website by adding more educational content, self-service calculators, and more. We're proud to have launched our mobile app in June 2024, which has been very well received by members. We're now focusing on improving the experience with the app, provide better service, and will continue to invest in it over time. In 2024, we experienced some changes in our board membership. Earlier this year, we experienced the sad loss of our friend and valued board member, Steve Robinson, who passed away in March. His contributions to NESS Super were immense, and he's greatly missed. We welcomed Alana Heffernan to the board, bringing fresh perspectives and a continued dedication to our mission and enhanced diversity to the board. I'd also like to acknowledge significant milestones in the 2024 financial year. The number of active super members increased by over 2.25%. The number of pension members increased by over 40%. Total assets of NESS Super increased by almost 13% to $1.2 billion and continues to grow. Money transferring to other super funds decreased by around 13%. Our NESS My Super product and our trustee-directed products has once again passed the annual performance test conducted by our regulator APRA in 2024. The value of contributions received increased by over 13%. Our member satisfaction rating has also increased, with our Net Promoter Score increasing by 1.9 points and is industry leading. Our complaints from members remain very low, and I can confirm that during the year 2024, there were no complaints referred to the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, or AFCA for short. Next, we have a message from Darren Galea, a NESS Super member. Darren's been a member of NESS Super for over 32 years and shares his thoughts on his journey with NESS Super.
My name's Darren Galea. I started my career over 30 years ago, left school and joined Stowe Australia. I've been with Stowe Australia since then. I'm an electrician by trade. I've moved into management for Stowe Australia. I look after 250 staff in the Sydney metropolitan area. Well, I've joined NESS and I've been with NESS since joining the construction industry. They've always looked after me. I've always been able to contact the NESS group regarding my superannuation. They've actually provided guidance while moving through the construction industry from being an apprentice and into the management section, and they've actually provided financial support or guidance on how to best manage my superannuation. My experience with NESS Super has been faultless. They're quite professional. They're easy to deal with. If you need to ring them up, they will answer your questions or concerns. They'll actually call back if you do leave a message. But more importantly, you can jump online. You can see how your superannuation is performing. But from a technical support mechanism, they're more than happy to help you, guide you through dealing with any concerns or issues associated with your superannuation. Simon's helped me through some difficult processes, especially dealing with the Section 293, trying to understand the processes. They've helped me fill out my forms. They've actually made the process extremely seamless, and they've followed me through that whole process step by step. And at the end of the day, the adjustments, refunds have been seamless. So Simon is more than happy to help you through that process. The service I've received through NESS over the 30 years is they do regular contact myself just to see how my superannuation is performing, if I need any financial support. Obviously, getting older in the journey of your career and super, the support mechanism that they do provide gives you that opportunity to reassess and reevaluate your superannuation. They're more than happy to help, especially regarding any queries or questions. NESS has provided security for my future. Being 52, the future is extremely important to ensure that you have enough super when you do get to the retirement age. So for me, for NESS to provide monthly, 6 monthly information through their newsletters, but also I do contact NESS once a year just regarding is my super in the appropriate category for best return on investment. To date, they've always been able to provide that information, and no doubt preparing for me for when I'm 65 when needing to retire.
It's great to hear from our members about how well they've been looked after by the NESS Super staff. NESS Super is a fund that prides itself on its ability to provide the highest levels of personal service to our members and employers. We'll now hear from Chris Matson, Investment Committee Chair.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Matson. I am the Chair of the NESS Super Investment Committee. Today, I will update you on the changes to the NESS Super investment structure over the past year and how our investments performed for the year ended 30 June 2024. The 2024 financial year continued the positive performance achieved in 2023, building on the recovery from the challenging return environment of 2022. Overall, returns were driven primarily by shares, both Australian and international, which returned between 10 and 20% for the year. The Australian share asset class gained 11.7%, while international shares were up 19.4%. After a muted start to the year, in the first quarter, equities rallied in November 2023, which continued over the course of the financial year. The rally was primarily driven by the increasing demand for artificial intelligence, or AI, with tech component makers and AI-exposed companies posting outsized returns. Additionally, improving economic sentiment over the middle half of the year proved to be beneficial to the broader market. Unlisted property and infrastructure were challenged during the year as asset prices were marked down due to increases in the discount rates used in their valuation. There was also muted demand in the Australian commercial property sector, particularly for offices, which underperformed other categories such as industrial property. In contrast, Australian listed property performed strongly over the year, as improving economic sentiment and hopes of rate cuts occurring soon led the sector to return 23.8% over the financial year. Australian and global bond asset classes returned 3.7% and 2.7% respectively for the year. Bond returns remain volatile due to uncertainty surrounding future expectations for interest rates, with many analysts pricing in concerns over further tightening. NESS Super's MySuper option provides diversification across asset classes to balance risk, which resulted in a strong return of 8.25% for the year, net of fees and taxes. High growth returned 10.6%, benefiting from a higher allocation to equities, while stable provided a return of 5.29%, well above the Australian bond composite return of 3.7%. Looking ahead to the 2025 financial year, inflation, interest rates, geopolitical tensions, and the pending change of US president are factors that create uncertainty for investment markets. We continue to take a balanced approach, which is designed to allow us to maintain performance above peer medians and portfolio benchmarks. We benefited in 2024 from our fixed interest positioning, which aimed to reduce losses from rising interest rates. We also benefited modestly by being underweight in our strategic allocation for unlisted property, which is the lowest performing asset class. After reducing management fees in 2022, NESS Super has managed to maintain these low fees across all investment options in 2024. This demonstrates the trustees' commitment to get members the best possible outcome. The default MySuper option outperformed its benchmark by 0.51%, returning 8.25% for the financial year ending June 2024. MySuper slightly underperformed the Super Ratings default median due to the challenging environment for unlisted property, although we expect performance for this asset class to improve longer term. You will see on the screen our 1, 3, 5 and 10-year returns as at 30 June 2024 for our super members and our members with a transition to retirement pension. The NESS MySuper option is designed to provide high-risk adjusted returns to members over time. It does this by aiming to smooth the ups and downs of a market cycle by reducing losses and capturing gains when markets rise. Whilst downside protection over short-term time periods is important, growth assets will eventually trend upward and capture better long-term returns than fixed income or cash holdings. NESS Super blended options, being MySuper and Stable, were positive for the year and outperformed the government's Your Future, Your Super benchmarks. The outperformance from fixed interest boosted MySuper and Stable options. This benefit did not carry over to the high growth option, which slightly underperformed its benchmark. The next slide shows the returns for our members with an account-based pension. All options posted positive performance for the financial year, though high growth is slightly under benchmark and peer median. My Pension and Stable outperformed benchmarks and peer medians. This was the result of broad diversification across shares, property, and the outperformance of our bond portfolio relative to benchmarks. Looking forward, we expect some volatility will continue until inflation consistently moderates back towards 3% globally, the economic backdrop stabilises, and geopolitical tensions ease. Recession risk remains low, but could increase this year should inflation not moderate enough. The medium to long-term investment outlook remains positive, with reasonable valuations and higher starting interest rates. Fixed interest is paying approximately 5% per annum for low-risk assets, and share valuations are pricing in returns between 8 and 10% per annum over the next 5-year period. The NESS Super Board remains focused on maintaining a long-term view, which remains an important strategy for value creation over time. Lastly, I want to update you on some actions we have taken since the end of the 2024 financial year. We've introduced a tilt to global small cap shares. We see the valuation of these shares as attractive, following a period of underperformance relative to larger companies whose share prices have rallied strongly. Additionally, in the event share markets suffer a major sell-off, we expect small cap shares will sell off less than the mega cap tech stocks that have run so hard on the back of the AI euphoria. Most significantly, we introduced a new product called My Income in July. My Income was especially designed for the increasing number of members who are moving into retirement, following extensive consultation with our financial planning team to understand the needs of our members at this stage of their lives. It is focused on generating consistent levels of income whilst using higher levels of defensive assets to seek capital stability. Next, we have a testimonial from Ben Espinoza, a NESS Super member and also an employer, Aeron Group. Ben has been a member of NESS Super for over 11 years and shares his thoughts on NESS Super.
I'm Ben Espinoza. I'm the Managing Director of Aeron Group. We are a EPMC, an energy project management and construction company focused on the green transition for energy. My role is mostly focused on keeping our company innovative and staying on the edge of technology. My experience working with NESS Super as our super provider has been an outstanding success, and it's the reason why we've continued to stay with them for over a decade. One of the main reasons why we stay with them is the fact that they ensure that we are protected and safe inside and outside the workplace. NESS Super were kind enough to come to us to do a NESS Super Annuation Toolbox talk, which not only covered current updates, but information on how everyone is either protected or not protected via different insurances which should be covered under the superannuation for the team. The team were very pleased with the information that they got and were left with a lot of questions which they had to ask themselves and got the support from NESS. NESS Super helped us gain financial knowledge by not only assisting us in our super choices, but answering questions, providing statistics and giving information updates in the current market, which allowed our team and myself to make choices that are going to benefit our future. I suppose the best way to explain how NESS has supported our business is the fact that they've supported our team. They did not push their company, nor did they push their superannuation portfolio onto our team. They simply answered questions with accurate information, which let the team feel safe that they're making the right choice, which allows our company to have a good culture. NESS Super has given us the confidence to really sit down and plan our future. They've given us information that's not only the market research, but they've assisted us with their personal and company financial planning to make the right choices that are best suited to us.
It's always great to hear from one of our members and their positive experiences with NESS Super. NESS Super is a fund that prides itself on its ability to provide the highest level of service to our members and employers alike. It's good to hear Ben's story about how well he and his employees have been looked after. Our aim is to provide that level of service for all members and employers. And now, looking to the future. To assist our members achieve their retirement goals, we will continue to enhance our retirement income strategy. This is evidenced from our new pension investment option called My Income, as mentioned earlier by Chris Madsen. We are scheduling more financial planning presentations, and where possible, we will hold these presentations near where our members are located, including regional areas. We will hold more toolbox talks for employers and their employees over the coming 12 months, and we intend to increase resourcing in this area. We'll be updating our member portals and improving our functions of our newly introduced mobile app. We'll be enhancing our communications to members to be more targeted to your individual needs. We plan to introduce more self-service tools, including financial advice, retirement income calculators, and more. To close, I'd like to introduce the NESS Super commitment to members. We will strive to deliver strong investment performance for you, but without taking unnecessary risks. We will continue to provide low administration fees, and we'll continue to work with our insurance partners, Zurich, Chubb, and Windsor, in order to provide tailored insurance products that meet your needs. We will provide outstanding customer service to you through our local member services teams, in-house insurance claim staff, employer relations managers, and our financial planners. That is our aim and our promise to you. Thank you. I will now start our questions and answer session. All right, this brings us to the question and answer session for our annual members meeting. We've got a range of questions tonight that we'll answer that have been sent in by members. Now, the first question we've got relates to service, and I might throw that to our chairman, Paul Laeth. And the question is, I chose NESS Super because of the service I received. How important is service to NESS Super?
Thanks, Paul. Service is a top priority for NESS Super. We're not the biggest industry super fund in Australia, but we do compete against some of the giants in the business. That means we need to have very, very good solid investment performance, low member fees, and very importantly, an insurance product that's tailored to our industry. But over and above that, we have to make sure our service is absolutely of the highest order. And I'm proud to say that we've been able to achieve that through a very strong focus on member service. Our member service team is always available to answer queries and complaints from our membership. And it's not something where you get posted onto an answering system that you never actually get to speak to a human. So from our perspective, making sure that our members get the very highest service is absolutely critical to us. And as a consequence of that, we're very proud to have achieved a platinum rating by Super Ratings, which is the highest rating you can possibly get. And Super Ratings is Australia's leading research consultancy in the superannuation sector. So just to say again, we will be judged by our service, and we're very, very proud in the service we provide to you, our members. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks. Next question we've got is an investment-related one, and I'll push this over to you, Chris, if that's okay. Our international shares option performed much stronger than our Australian shares option. Perhaps you could explain what's caused that?
Sure, Paul. It's a good question. I guess it makes you reflect on the differences in the Australian economy versus the world more broadly, and also the constituent companies in those indexes. So I think most people are familiar in Australia. You've got the big four banks as a large part of our share market, plus the resources sector. You've got the BHPs, you've got energy with Woodside. They make up a large portion of our index. And whilst the banks had an okay year, the resources and energy sectors were a little bit more challenged. If you were to contrast that with overseas indexes and overseas markets, the US is a very big part of the international share indexes. And you look at what are the main companies in those markets, they're mainly the mega cap tech companies these days. So a few years ago, that people talked about the FAME shares. Now they talk about the Magnificent Seven, and they're all technology companies or technology-enabled companies that are growing very, very quickly. And the advent of the artificial intelligence boom has just supercharged the performance of those companies over the last year or two, and that's really fed through to their performance. So in the international markets, some of those Magnificent Seven companies, many of them had over 50% performance for the year. Some of them were well over 100%, and that's for very, very large companies. So it's not a sector that Australia has a lot of exposure to. We have some technology companies, but they tend to be at the smaller scale. So just the difference in the two sort of industries, or the industries in Australia versus more globally, has led to that change. I probably reflect back a little bit, back to the .com sort of boom, the turn of the millennium, where we saw a divergence as well, where Australia underperformed for a while. When the .com bust eventually came around, Australia did better for a period there. So I don't think it'll last forever, but at the moment it is leading to a bit of a divergence between Australian and international markets.
Thank you, Chris. Good summary. Next question I've got relates to digital advice, and I'll handle that one. The question we've got is, a lot of larger super funds provide digital advice to their membership. Does NESS intend on providing this as a service anytime soon? I'm pleased to advise tonight that NESS is in the final throes of becoming a partner with a firm called Otivo, and Otivo is a trusted digital financial advice platform which provides financial advice for members. NESS will use the Otivo platform in the coming year. It'll be able to provide members with advice on contributions, salary sacrifice, insurance, investments, and all the other bits and bobs that a member might need on their journey to retirement. We'll be contacting all of our members in the new year, and we'll be advising them the details of how it will work and the costs associated with it. But also on top of that, to give members comfort, we'll be maintaining our existing financial planning in-house team, which many people have used, for those that wish to use the face-to-face arrangements that are currently in place. So that's not changing at all. But what we will be introducing is the digital version, which will sit on our website, where members will be able to go and do it themselves, use it to their heart's content. There will be a cost associated with it, but it will allow members to get a lot deeper into their planning for retirement, which is very important to us because we see that as a member service and helping people get their retirement goals. The next question we have tonight, I might throw to you again, Chris, and it's quite a topical one considering what's happened recently, and it's, do you think Donald Trump being elected as the US president will affect the world investment markets and the investment outlooks?
I guess if you're reflecting what's happened in the markets since his election, clearly it has had an impact, but I'd probably take a step back firstly and say, when we structure our portfolios on your behalf, we don't look to try and structure them to look at opportunities in the next 3 months or next 6 months. We're taking a 5 to 10 year view. If you look at the investment objectives we set out, we're targeting certain levels of return, certain levels of risk over a 5 or 10 year period. And over 10 years, in 10 years' time, I think who's the president will have certainly changed, and the current president, will have been forgotten about to some extent. But probably going on to Trump's particular thoughts, he has some bold plans and policies. He did that the first time that he took office as well. I think that leads to a lot of speculation in the markets, and that leads to some volatility. Bold policies haven't always been enacted as he might have wanted them to be. So sometimes the reality turned out to be a little bit different. So all of that leads to a bit of uncertainty. And again, that reinforces why we take a longer term view rather than trying to react to every bit of news or headline that might come across markets. Probably though, looking at the market since he did win the election, they've gone very strongly in terms of the equity markets, and that's on the back of he's seen as a pro business, a pro growth president, also a president that's supportive of lower taxes. So all of that's supported equity markets in the last month or so since his election. Probably on the flip side of that, globally we have had an issue with inflation being too high, and globally it's sort of starting to come under control. There is a little bit of fear in the markets that Trump may reignite a little bit of that inflation. So if you looked at the sort of 5 and 10-year interest rates, they've actually gone up while the cash rates fall and the longer term rates have gone up as a result of those fears. And that's something that we are watching, because those longer term rates get used to value assets such as properties and infrastructure. If we do see inflation start to stop falling or maybe start to increase a bit again, we'll have to be very conscious about what that could mean for the future valuations of some of our investments.
Thanks, Chris. Very comprehensive. Question which is really quite apt at the moment, considering some of the media around super, and I think I'll give this to Paul. Super complaints to the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, or AFCA, have increased by 5% in the 23-24 financial year. How many complaints did NESS receive, and why do you think we get those complaints?
Thanks, Paul. As I said earlier, we're very proud for the fact that we had 0 complaints referred to AFCA at a time when AFCA complaints rose by 5% across the sector. We believe that's due to a very strong member focus, attention to detail, our compliant operations, and as I said earlier in my earlier response to Paul's question, an absolute crystal clear focus on member satisfaction. Unlike our competitors, we call every member that has a complaint or an issue. So again, you're dealing with a human and not some type of robotic system. It's very important we continue to do that, and hopefully, and our aim is to make sure that we keep on getting that 0 complaints so that people have their problems resolved long before they believe they've got the need to have to refer it to a higher body.
Thank you, Paul. Very important issue, those complaints. The last question I have for tonight, and I think I'll answer that, is a lot of bigger super funds have higher fees than NESS Super. How does NESS intend on maintaining these low fees? Well, the answer to that's is multifaceted. We're very committed to being very lean in our operations. We don't like spending money unnecessarily, and you can see that evidenced in a number of ways. We don't put ads on television. We don't sponsor football teams. We don't spend millions and millions of dollars in marketing to build a brand name up. We spend our money on looking after our members, as Paul alluded to before. We make sure our contact centres are fully staffed and our advisors are in the field, and our claims people are helping those at their most important times when they put a claim in. So we're not interested in spending money unnecessarily, and that gives us the opportunity to keep our fees down. As we said before, our administration fees are among the lowest in the industry. I'm very proud of that, but we have to work exceptionally hard to keep that in place. But again, it's about the culture of NESS is all about putting the member first. And by us keeping fees low, that means that there's the members will receive more money in retirement. And that's really what our mission is, to get our members as well prepared and well looked after for retirement, and making sure that they get as much money into that space as they can. We're always reviewing our fees and costs. We always make sure that if there's any places that we can save money, we do. And I don't think we've changed our fees in the last 4 years, which we're very proud of. And we're hoping to do that into the future. And again, as I said, we're very conscious of what we spend, because it's the members' money we spend, and we make sure that we get value for that money as well. That is the last question I have now. this actually brings us to the end of our 2024 annual members meeting. I'd like to extend my thanks to the members of NESS for your attendance today and your continued support and trust. As always, our focus is on achieving the best retirement outcomes for our members, and we look forward to achieving these goals in the 2025 year and beyond. For more information, please contact us on 1800 022 067 or email contact@nesssuper.com.au. Thank you, good night, and have a safe and Merry Christmas.